So finally, let's time this with our explosion, and let's turn on show all objects. And maybe to scrub the timeline faster, let's go back to our transform pieces and just use this node here that I left, which is the low quality version. So just plug this in our transform pieces, and let's go back to our lightning. Let's go forward until we start to see our explosion happening. So maybe frame, let's see. I think frame 23, the lightning should already be inside of the ground. So if I preview this, let's drop down a time shift, and we want to set this to be a value of, let's see, f minus 23. So let's go forward a frame, and maybe we need to adjust this value of 23. Maybe we need to make this, let's see, maybe 20. Alright, so we start to have something. I think we have to increase the p-scale. And let's maybe look from our camera view. So we definitely need a bigger p-scale. Let's go to the p-scale and let's set this to 0.5. And actually it seems that we need most of these settings to be a little higher. But this is the advantage of doing everything procedurally. So maybe just set the p-scale amplitude to 0.1. Let's go to the first big noise and let's increase the amplitude to 5. Okay, and maybe decrease the frequency. So we can see how much control we can have doing this technique without any keyframes. Okay, so I think they are starting to be lined up. Let's visualize just this big noise, and I think maybe I have to drop down the roughness and frequency quite a bit. Let's preview the geometry. Let's go back to the big noise, increase the roughness, and let's also increase the amplitude of this small noise, so maybe 0.5, and increase the element size to 0.2. And I think for the p-scale, let's go inside and decrease the frequency of the noise a little bit. So for all of these settings, I highly encourage you to experiment and use whatever settings you want. Maybe increase the p-scale amplitude to 0.15. And also for my CD, let's go inside and also decrease the frequency here quite a bit. So probably the better way would have been here to first set up all of these settings in relation to the geometry and the camera. So I have to apologize for backtracking and readjusting a lot of these settings. Let's maybe just create a flipbook from this and see the results so far. So I think this looks pretty good, and the timing feels right. So I will leave this as it is for now, and the final adjustment that I want to do is, because I know from previous experiments that when we add a glow, this will add a lot of artificial thickness to the lighting. So we want to make the p-scale a little bit smaller. So let's maybe just go back, and for my p-scale, let's set this to a value of 0.1, I think. And maybe just drop the copies to, let's try 3 or maybe 4. Yeah, okay, 4. So I don't want to spend an eternity tweaking these values, but this will be good enough for us in order to move forward. So this will be the main lightning. So let's grab all of these, Shift O, and this can become, let's grab a sticky note, this can be LTG strike. Okay. And let's start working on the lightning spread.